Hi, you kids. It's been a while, and there's a lot going on in the world. And we've been talking about a lot of it over on Instagram, where I'm the most active, and TikTok. Everything from how Sydney Sweeney is being treated by women because of her soap ad, to my very distinct feelings about the fans of A Handmaid's Tale and the way that they're worshiping Nick. Some commentary on Jenny and Georgia and what it feels like to be the friend who feels too much, most of which I've been writing about over on my Substack as well. Because as some of you may have noticed, I've stepped away from the podcast for a little while, as well as Autism for Evil, which is so much fun, but my brain has been everywhere. And I thought that maybe challenging myself to writing every day on Substack would put me in a better headspace for writing my podcast scripts, as well as the satire works. But it's all been so serious. And if you would like me to bring the seriousness over here, let me know. But today we're going to revisit my explanation of The Sims, because that always makes me smile. It's a lot of fun and I want to share it with you guys. And unfortunately for all the people who like to beat me up over this, it was filmed on TikTok and I thought it would be stupid just to refilm the whole thing to turn it in the other direction. So the orientation's gonna flip. But thank you for being here. Sorry I've been away. It's been a crazy year. Same excuse as always, that it's just easier to grab the camera and go and post to TikTok and Instagram. But as somebody on the ADHD spectrum, I am very responsive to demand. So if you have fun giggling with me here, maybe I'll come back a little sooner. Well, I am trying. That was the point of the Substack challenge. So you can check that out. But for now, enjoy this giggle. Rumors about Margot Robbie producing a live-action The Sims film have dropped, and you guys are already not getting it. Because what do you mean, what would it even be about? You are confused because you're not cultured. The Sims storyline is more compelling than Grey's Anatomy, Riverdale, and Pretty Little Liars all put together. Like, the core story is about a bad bitch in a red dress that goes missing after her brother's widow moves into town with her sister and this beautiful whore, because they married into Bella's family to get to the family that Bella is married into, because she's married to the richest sim in the game. Because mind you, the Goth family are descendants of the Crumplebottoms. And Bella's brother's widow's family disappears her because they are descendants of aliens. No, it's canon. But that's not even like the half of it. For double assurance that the widow's family can get to the Goth money, one marries Bella's husband, and the other, the beautiful whore that I mentioned before, gets engaged to Bella's daughter. And mind you, this beautiful whore is still hooking up with like one of the widows, or actually the widow and the widow's sister. Again, so they're just trying to get to the Goth family money. And Bella's youngest child is like, are we all tripping? Are we all tripping? Mom went missing while hanging out with the beautiful whore, and you're gonna get engaged with him. The beautiful whore is BFFs with the widow of our uncle. You're gonna get romantically involved. Hello, have we lost the plot? And so this like 10-year-old decides to write a book called Unalive in Pleasantville, their hometown. A banger! And then utilizes time travel. Time travel is canon in the Sims universe because his sister is a scientist, to go back in time and publish this book about the unaliving of his mother, because he doesn't believe she's disappeared, and publish it while his parents are children. That's The Sims 3. That's why The Sims 3 is a prequel. Alexander goes back in time. And even though we don't see Alexander in The Sims 3, we see his book, and we know that time travel from The Sims 2 to The Sims 3 exists because Don Lothario is like in The Sims 3 as like an adult, the same age he is in time The Sims 2, which is why we know it's Cassandra's time travel machine, because he was engaged to Cassandra. You keep following. He goes back in time to publish this book so that he can warn his mother that she will be disappeared or unalive by her brother, his uncle's widow's family. And it works, and that's why The Sims 4 is set in an alternate universe. He successfully changed the timeline. That's also why The Sims 4 has magic. Chronologically, witchcraft was banned in The Sims. That's why they go from having their own neighborhood in the original, popping up scarcely in another expansion pack in Sims 2. And then by Sims 3, there's nothing. There's also the lady that murdered all of her husbands. But the biggest reason that a Sims film would bang is that it's right in line with films like The Truman Show. You guys know that it's canon that the Sims find out that they're being controlled. Like, if you look at the college courses for The Sims that I think, what is it, the study of philosophy, something like that. There's a course that talks about the discovery of Sims being controlled by human beings. Furthermore, Dr. What's-His-Face You guys know that the item, the helmet you can put on your head with like the crystals in it that you can use to control other Sims. The doctor that created that, he was a professor who discovered that Sims were being controlled, and to prevent himself from being controlled, he harnessed the energy that humans were using to control Sims. Like, it's a fake plumb bulb, guys. Like, he's an evil scientist that decided to exploit Sims because humans were doing it. It's canon. Remember how he took the wife of what's his face? Those crazy people that were abusing Test Subject. The kid's literal name is Test Subject, and mind you, he's the love child of the Grim Reaper and the girl that killed all her husbands, which is why she was killing all her husbands. Her true love is the Grim Reaper, so she kills her husband so that the Grim Reaper will visit her, and they sire a child called Test Subject, who gets kidnapped by two scientists and is used as a test subject up until the wife is taken by the evil dude who uses the mind controller, and he forces them to be together. The Sims is very, very dark, but it's good drama. It's good drama, guys. It's good drama. There's nothing but material. To add just a little bit of clarity to those that are new to delving into Sims lore, when I say a bad bitch in a dress, this is who I mean. This is the bad bitch in the dress. This is Bella Goth. Do you know how much of a baddie you have to be taking it, to eat that shit up, to have that shit on as a 2D figure? Like, this is fine, this is okay, but this is like the alternate universe Bella. So I don't know what happened with her. She lived long enough to raise her second child, and so she was hot for like mom in the neighborhood. But before Alex was born, bad 2D bitch. This is not Bella Goth. When you search, you'll find this. This is not Bella, because this is Bella from The Sims 2. Bella's not in The Sims 2. She was abducted, murdered before the game started. This is a clone. She was cloned. They'll try to tell you that this bitch is Bella because her memories were wiped. No. Alex didn't fall for it. I'm not falling for it. We're not falling for it. Like, it's not even the same energy. Yes. Yes. Absolutely. Here is the thing that I need you to understand. When you are the baddest and your man is the realest and you have a legacy of love, there will always be a hating ass, miserable ass bitch that wants to see you fail. And unfortunately, this hater ass energy is what Bella fell victim to. She found the love of her life as a child. I mean, his whole life is just loving her. Like, her yearbook legacy is, I'm the baddest, I have the most fun, I'm better than blondes. And his is basically just being her kin. Man said no thoughts, just woo her. True love with the boy that would be king, because again, the Goth family, aka her husband Mortimer's family, are the descendants of the Crumplebottoms. Agnes is his maternal auntie, his mother's sister, and the Crumplebottoms were one of the original families in The Sims, so they come from money. Bella's family, the Bachelor family, they did okay. They weren't like rich. Her dad was a journalist. Her mom worked part-time. They lived in a house that looked like this. It's heavily implied that like they're of Romani descent. So even though they are technically an early family, they're not as early as the Goths or the Crumplebottoms. But as you can see, the Goth family was really focused on Mortimer finding his princess so that their lineage could continue and beat out these new money hoes, the Altos. And as stated, he falls in love with his best friend. Like, they're everything. In fact, they're based on the Addams family, and we know they were some real lovers, okay? But when it comes to the downfall of a bad bitch, it's usually gonna be your own people, and it's usually gonna be a man, in this case her brother Michael Bachelor, who, instead of peeping that this is a hating ass, gold digging ass bitch, was like, ooh, banging body, I'm gonna put a ring on it. Like, literally, thoughts of marrying for money are coming out of her head, which is why I don't understand you girls are like, Dina's not to blame. Dina and Nina Caliente, the bastard grandchildren of Polichuk blah 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 9, the alien. And I say bastard because, like, as an alien, why do you need to be a gold digger? You can travel back in time, but you need to be a gold digger. Like, not too smart, not too much going on up here. You can travel back in time, but unaliving people is the best scheme you can come up with to get money. Not too bright. And if this is confusing, in The Sims, men are the ones that have babies in the alien race. So her dad's an alien and their mom is a human, so they're like half alien, half human. They just got left here to rot. Because also note, in The Sims 2, there is an option for alien babies to go back to their home planet and be raised or stay on Earth, and they got abandoned here and they're mad about it. So in an effort to get here, they set their sights here. Because mind you, Bella was in from the beginning because they met as children. So by the time they came into the scene and met this guy, like, this was already a set thing. They're like, ooh, if we marry the brother of the Goth wife, then eventually we can become the Goth way. So since he also has nothing going on up here, he opts in. And after he dies of old age, these two bitches move into town. In fact, they arrive on the eve before Bella goes missing. Papa like, oh my God, we heard about your wife. Would you like some nasty ass fruitcake? Tits out and up. And they prosper, which is crazy. I guess he's like, I'm an old man. I have nothing else to live for. But he's still thinking about his baby all the time. But it's crazy because as we mentioned in the first video, because like I said, like she went missing while hanging out with the beautiful whore, which is Don Lothario, his queen. Look at his console version. Yes. It's like, Mortimer, like your wife went missing while at his house and he's clink clink with Dina and Nina. Granted, Mortimer probably didn't know that they were sleeping together, but he knew they were like this. They rode into town together. Like, what? Then you gave the blessing for him to marry your daughter. We're like, what? Turn this on. Their plot was this. You see him in the back? Yes. For some reason, Bella decides to go use the telescope at Don's house. Don actually hits on her. She rejects him. I think he was probably supposed to seduce her. Didn't work. And then she gets abducted by aliens. Some people feels indemnifies Dina and Nina. No, babes, it incriminates them because they're aliens. In fact, that's why their name is Caliente. Caliente. Was abducted because they're aliens. It's like, no. And she magically reappears in Strangetown. But this not her. EA did eventually release a statement said this is the real Bella, but we don't trust the government around here. EA is the government in The Sims. I think EA was like, oh, this is a little too far. Children play this game. This is a little too far. Tried to fix it. No, she gets abducted and she. In The Sims 3, which is the prequel because she's a child in The Sims 3, Bella has a gravestone. My theory is that they her and then buried her in the past. Very big-hearted believers in good believe she just got dropped in the past and lived a full life and then croaked because her ghost appears as an elder, which means she would have died of old age. But mind you, Mortimer was working on an age elixir at the time she was abducted. He had the ability to age Sims with his potion. So the working theory is that they her by aging her up and then buried her in the past. We don't know her. We don't know you. Cute, nice try, no. It's recently come to my attention that a lot of Simmers don't realize that The Sims actually has a religion. And I'm smiling, but it's only because I'm deeply uncomfortable. Because as those of you who are deep into The Sims 2 lore know, there's nothing more unsettling than the prime Heffa god. And if you thought I was making up all the things I said before in the previous video, you're gonna call those people to put the grippy socks on me after this one. Because I'm not even kidding. Prime Heffa, better known as Beezle Beef, was a cow god in The Sims 2. But if you're not familiar with that, it's probably because your parents loved you enough to not let you play the DS version of the game. That shit was weird. I kind of think EA needs to be held accountable for that a little bit. But technically the game is for teenagers, so we'll move past it. The DS version of the Sims 2 game is like if the Strangetown neighborhood was its own game and you just take the horrorcore and the original Sims and just crank it all the way up. There's no sugar, there's no spice, there's no anything nice. It's just chemical X. And the Beezle Beef religion's not just like a normal religion, man. Remember in the original video I said there's like an evil scientist that plots to take over the free will of other Sims. Like he kidnapped a woman, took away her free will, forced them to be together. That dude, the weirdest dude you know, from The Sims 2 was like, yo, there's something not right about this Beezle Beef. He said there's something not right about this Beezle Beef shit. He had a problem. If the strangest dude you know, the weirdest motherfucker in The Sims thinks there's something wrong with Beezle Beef, then there's something wrong with Beezle Beef. Beezle Beef's followers believe that like he was like the prime Heffa, the holy cow that like slept or slumbered beneath the earth or something and he needed to rise again. And they believe like the elder herd were gonna trample down upon the Sims who were unworthy. Like The Sims has a rapture story. I could just imagine them running around like the end is coming, the end is coming. And they believe that once the earth was cleansed, it would usher in a new era of peace and grass. What's crazy is that if you dig a little, you might find that within Abrahamic religions, there are denominations that believe the word Beelzebub is another word for Satan. And so it's possible that Beezle Beef is a loose translation or reference to Beelzebub, and so they might actually be worshiping Satan, and that's why he sleeps beneath the earth. Like it's, and a lot of people like to say, oh, the DS Sims isn't canon to the rest of the story. And maybe that's true when you consider that The Sims 4 is an alternative universe, but I'm gonna say it. I be in those Reddit threads arguing people down about this, but it's canon to me because there's things that show up in The Sims 4 that originated in The Sims 2 DS, including the cow plant. The cow plant is an ode to the god Beezle beef, old prime heifer. And when it eats other Sims, it's like a flesh sacrifice to the god Beezle beef to help him rise again. But people will say it doesn't count because The Sims 4 is an alternative universe. But that largely negates the fact that alternative universe is canon, because what? It's a product of what happened in the original games. Time traveling back to change the future. So even though the storyline of Sims 4 is not canon to what happened in the original series, it not being canon is canon. Are you following? Literally. No, I'm kidding. But literally. And now I'm gonna show you some official concept art for Beezle beef. Content warning, weird as fuck. Thanks for bringing it up, because some of you girls still aren't getting it. The concept of you, the player, being God is canon. In fact, it's the whole point of the Sims franchise. The Sims game itself seeks to explore, well, simulation theory and egg theory. Simulation theory explores the ideal of life itself being simply a simulation, and egg theory explores the ideal that everybody in the world is you. You are everyone that's ever existed, that ever will exist, and that does currently exist. And every time you bump into someone else, you're the same person. It's like there's your sock puppets being controlled by someone else. And just like in the DS and PSP incarnations of The Sims, where we get a deeper lore and an expansion of the universe, we get the context of this being what? Canon through Sims Medieval. In Sims Medieval, you are the religion, and there's two denominations, or some people see it as two different religions, but they are both religions that worship the Watcher, you, which tells us what? If the Sim movie explores a Sim becoming conscious and becoming aware that they're being controlled, that is canon to the series of The Sims. That is literally what is written. What are you doing? Sorry, I'm still training the robot that films me. Bad robot, no fupa reveal. Anyway, I like the idea of The Sims as the simulation theory in play specifically, because not long ago I saw a very interesting TikTok by an astrophysicist who stated it kind of doesn't matter if mankind lives in a simulation, because is a simulation a lesser form of life or a less real reality if the simulation is functioning in a manner that makes it hard to distinguish whether the reality is real or not? Basically saying that if the reality functions as real enough of a reality for no one to notice, for you to have to question it, for you to have to explore it, then it effectively is a real reality. Thus, by giving us the Sims, the simulated, a simulation like The Sims, it challenges our ability to recognize the humanity or the value of life or the practice of morals and ethics with a life that we have deemed lesser just because of the way it's positioned, like with almost an egg within an egg within an egg, which is challenged further by the fact that The Sims can play The Sims in The Sims 4. Have you noticed that? It's a computer game that they can play The Sims! The Sims have Sims! So if The Sims have Sims, and you have The Sims, who has you?